Hello and welcome to week 4 of Shaw University's English 111 class online summer 2017. Yay, week 4. So what are we doing this week? Well, you're watching this video, yay! And then let's go through it. So last week we introduced the compare contrast paper, and your first draft is going to be due this week, okay? And so that is found. So we're going to do the rough draft. We're going to submit me a copy, submit a copy to the discussion board, and then you're going to comment on 3 people with other students. We'll get over that in a second. We'll go over that in a second. And then there's 2 other videos that we're going to introduce for the third paper. We're going to introduce paper 3. Yay! There is readings for MindTap, which will help you with these concepts here. There is a feedback for extra credit, which is exciting. And then you get to work on the final draft of these papers. And the final draft of paper 2 and the first draft of paper 3. So let's kind of go through it. So again, you're watching this video. So last week we introduced the compare contrast paper. Go back and watch the video for week 3 if you don't remember what's going on. Okay, and again, there's an example of what one would look like. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you're done with your compare contrast paper, you're going to upload it here. Okay, this is for me as your professor to look at it, give you feedback, and grade it and such like that. And then you're also try that again. You're going to also load the same copy to the forums here. Now, if you're like, what? I don't get this. Go back to week 2. We did the same exact thing in week 2 with the first paper. So go back to, if you don't remember how to do this, go back and watch the video from week 2, and it walks you through step by step of how to do these things. I'm not going to spend the time to do that again because we've already explained that in this class. If you need a refresher, go back and watch the video for week 2. So again, that's what you're doing for the compare contrast rough draft. After we are done with that rough draft for that, we are then going to start introducing the concepts for paper 3. To do that, we need to learn about critical thinking. Critical thinking is the idea of being able to look at something very logically, to get past our emotions, get past our biases, to study a text deeper as part of the writing process, right, and the reading process, rather, where you can read. You can't just read something once to fully understand it. That's a bit of a problem that a lot of students think, oh, I just read it once, so I'm good to go. Not really to fully understand a text. Okay, so and we're going to step it up a notch for this class. So there is this lecture that explains what critical thinking is, and then there's another lecture video here on what is satire, because your next assignment is that you're going to write another essay. Yay! And this essay is, when you click on the instructions, if you click on this, it would pull up the instructions. So for this assignment, you will practice writing what you learned in the compare contrast paper by writing a 5-paragraph essay based on the reading of an assertive proposal, meaning that the format is basically the same as a compare contrast. Okay, 5-paragraph essay. Now the prompt is basically this down here. You're going to read an essay called An Unassertive Proposal and answer the following. What do you think this essay was about? What do you think? Okay. Why? And then give 3 examples from the essay as proof to back up your claim. Okay, so this is really on you. Now, please note that this is a satirical essay, and it will take, and you need to understand what a satire is, so you make sure you can watch the video. This is an advanced essay. It'll take several readings for you to begin to understand it, meaning the first time you read it, you probably will not understand it. Huh? Why would somebody write something like that? Well, that is the whole point. I gave you a very challenging reading here for you to have to read it several times to begin to understand it, to think about it, and then eventually you'll figure out, okay, what do you think this essay is about and why? And then you have to give 3 examples. Now, I'm not saying you have to figure out what the author meant or what the author intended. What I want to know is, what do you think it's about and why? And then you have to give me reasons why. Okay? Understand that? Okay. And when you go back to Moodle, the actual essay is right here, An Unassertive Proposal. When you click on that, this is the essay right here. Look at that. Look how long it is. It's not even a page, so it's not too bad. Okay? So when I say you're going to have to read it multiple times, it's not like you're going to have to read a book multiple times. It's a page, but it is an advanced essay. It's a master's level essay. What? It's okay. Again, I'm not expecting you to do master's level work on this, but I am expecting you to actually put some time and effort into it. Okay, so that is the paper 3 introduction. Then extra credit, yay! So in a few sentences, you're going to answer what elements of this class are working and you find most effective, what elements in this class are not working for you or you find least effective, and what suggestions do you have from Professor Morgan to make this class better. The idea here is, well, and then what happens if you do this? You will earn 10 points towards one of your final papers from Writing Project 2 or Writing Project 1. Meaning, so let's say you got a 85 on Writing Project 1. And therefore, I would say, oh, good. I will now make that grade a 95. Okay? Yeah. So it's going to be to one or the other, not to both. Okay? So if you didn't, if you scored, like 90, if you scored like 100 on your first paper, then I would put those 10 points to Writing Project 2. Chances are you won't get 100 on the paper. That's hard to do, but it's possible. It can be done. Okay, so there's that. So again, to review for this week, okay, so you're going to do the compare contrast paper, which we introduced last week. You're going to upload those so we can get feedback, okay? Then you're going to watch critical thinking, that video, what is satire. Now the readings for week 4 for MindTap is right here, week 4. The writing-reading connection. Again, this is the concept that will help reinforce the ideas of critical thinking and reading and writing. And yes, so read that chapter. Important. Okay, then you do the midterm for the extra credit. And then you start working on the final draft for paper 2, which is due next week. And then you start working on the rough draft, which is also due next week. Yes, don't you love these fast semesters? Just how fast everything's going. So, yeah, so that's what's happening this week. So, all right, get to work. You can do it.